Hey guys, welcome, welcome, welcome. I am not sure what I'm going to do today, but it's one of those days where I just had like a flash of like, I wonder what this would do. And I figured I'd be cool and turn the camera on and see what happens. So I've pulled out a whole bunch of, let me swing it a little more light for us. There we go. Pulled out a whole bunch of earthy tones. They've just been kind of sitting on my desk in the corner. So yeah, I've got piles and piles and piles of little containers of color floating around everywhere. And I've been playing with Makumigani thing and beading, and I've been looking around online, and I've come across some really cool beaded effects. Like just again, like blown glass stuff, and so I've just been getting all these like just I don't know, almost downloads of just stuff. So I figured I would grab whatever felt earthy and textury and organic and start playing around and see what happens. So I've got scrap colors. I am sorry, guys. I have like 90% of no idea. This is Peacock Pearl toned down with rose gold. That's rose gold mixed. Sorry, let me get that in sight. Rose gold mixed with translucent. So just it'll have a little more opacity to it so it won't take over as much. This is some unknown shade of beige. This, I think, is what happens when you put rose gold and black together, which is a stunning neutral. So, yeah, that I need to make like pounds of because that's just such a gorgeous neutral. Like, it's so fascinating. And if you get up in it, it's got like some sparkle. It's got like almost a coppery type sparkle to it with a little bit of a silver shine. And yeah, it's like my new favorite neutral. I haven't used it enough yet, but it's cool. We mixed this a while ago. I don't remember. This is probably whatever this, I think it was like a forest green with a little teal and white and pearl. I think that's what it is. It's like forest green and white mixed with like teal and pearl. A little bit of teal, a lot of pearl, maybe. I don't remember. Something along those lines. Um, I think this is some brown that just happened. I don't know. This is my normal copper and black. Not as black as I often make it. I needed to add a little more, another section. I think it's usually like 3 black to 1 copper. Makes it really dark. This is like 2 black to 1, I think. This is just a grayish shade that showed up. So, this is Peacock Pearl mixed with the rose gold because I was playing with, oh, you guys will probably love these. I was playing with a Makumigani blend from purple through rose gold into Peacock Pearl, and that middle color is interesting. What happens when those touch? So, yeah, I thought it was fascinating. So, anyway, so that ended up getting grabbed into the pile. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Here, I made a plug of the teal into the, but it makes a pretty color when it's just middle. So like 50-50 or a little bit more rose gold to the peacock pearl is actually a really cool color. Um, Probably should have mixed up some of that to throw in here, but I don't want to mix anymore because yeah. This is champagne. This is the, let's see, everything is primo except this is Cernet. Cernet champagne mixed with Cernet translucent, and the block of translucent I have open right now is Cernet. So any translucent that got mixed in is Cernet, not Primo. Otherwise, all the colors are Primo, except this is Cernet. I already said it. Champagne, and that's just some Cernet translucent. And I've got more translucent. I've got this isn't rolled together yet, so I'm gonna crumble that in some places probably. And yeah, we're just trying to go like earthy stone like. So yeah, that's kind of where we're at. So let me pull these back. Let's get a tile kind of in a working position. And again, as usual, I have way too much stuff on my desk. I'm gonna try to give myself a spot that is mostly visual for working. I'm a little, oh, and then, oh, this was 18 karat gold with, cut down 50-50 with translucent. So, like I said, I want some see-through effects. I want some bold effects. I want just earthy and natural. So, And then the other idea, part of the other idea that just kind of popped into my head as I was thinking through this is I sort of want to try laying down textures and layers of textures. So like start with something and then put something into it and then lay a different texture over that for the next layer. And like, so I'm just gonna kind of stack this stuff up as we go, I think. Um, Everything's kind of on the darker side, like mid-range to dark. I don't have tons of light. Kind of trying not to put my all. Actually, I don't think I have any off-white mixed up. I think I used it all. I used it all. Except maybe a little. That might be it. No, that's the. I may end up needing more of this than that's the Cernet. Yeah, so I don't think I have any more of my off-white. Oh wait, there we go. There's a little tiny log of it mixed up. So I might throw in a little of the off-white, but I'm trying to. Yeah, I don't know. I've been using it so much and it takes over. So I'm trying to stay away from. Oh, I've got one more chunk. This is the 18 karat gold, the champagne, and bronze. It has been mixed with. Oh, I did have that. What is that? I had a bronze. That's it. So yeah, that's bronze mixed down with translucent. That might be worth having a little bit of in this mix too. I'm not gonna grab much because I've got it in this too, but take a little chunk of that. Yeah, that'll be interesting. All right, so everything's rolled out on a 3, so it's relatively thin. Not absurdly thin, but relatively thin. And now I don't have a tile for working on again. Oh, I was starting there. All right, so we've got that. And let's just throw a couple little of these crumbles of translucent that have just been floating around over here. Let's see. Let's just knock off whatever wants to land down. That works. Probably should have some. What was the other thought I was having? Gold leaf, maybe. I wish I remembered where I got this from. Made in China. I don't know. Anyway, this one's kind of cool because it's like a mix of all sorts of tones, but it's not like the uber bright. They're all like mixed in. So like you've seen those foils where it's just kind of like almost like burnt and made to look like it was like more. Oh, what's the word I'm looking for? Patina, patina. Yeah. So it's some of this is like very patina effect. Some of it's kind of chemical reaction effect. But yeah, so it's a neat little rainbow stash of whatchamacallit. That's just for the fun of it. Throw a single piece in here. I'm going to need tweezers for that. But just because I mentioned it, let's just throw you right there and throw some translucent on top of you. Okay. So this has got some translucent to it. What else do we want to do? Let's throw a little bit of this. This is that copper and black. And then let's do something a little more. Actually, my 18 karat gold. Let's throw some of that in there. And then let's give ourselves a pretty good size. So this is a purple. I don't remember exactly what, but what are we missing down here? Whatever. Okay. So we're going to call this our first version. And maybe we'll start small and then keep adding. I don't know. Whoop. So I do want to flatten this down some. I'm a little bit tempted. I got a hair in it already. Question is that one of mine or is that one of the paths? All right, I think we're good. Okay, let's flatten that out some. I'm actually going to put a very skinny layer of that is at a 9. All right, rolling you out. I don't think I'm gonna have nearly enough spare tiles floating around because I have a feeling this is going to get messy in all the best ways, but messy. All right, let's just rip you off. Leave all that sitting aside because we'll just add scraps back into other things later. All right, so let's go ahead and run a texturing. Let's see. Have it in longer. Sure you pressed it. Yeah, you're rolled in already. Okay. This one's not as big. I could go grab it in the extra large. It's a little deeper though by not being the smaller. And actually, I do kind of, yeah. All right, I want to do it a few different ways. I can't remember. I'm sorry, guys. You guys are going to hate me. This one, can't remember if I listed it yet or not. I think it's listed on the website on Ultra Deep in the natural textures. I can't remember what I labeled it as. It's like metal patina or something along those lines. Oops, lost it, but that is irrelevant for this version. All right, so we're just going to put a little bit of that in, and then I'm going to pivot my tile around. Even that's would be gorgeous to just slice out. And I want to add some of this guy. Let's get you wet. So this is droplets. And definitely on Etsy, not positive if it's on the website or not. And then I've got one spot that's not textured right there, and I want to run something through that. And I don't want to get too different, do I? Kind of a little bit. That's just a nice little. So this one is leaf litter from my North Carolina in the Woods series. And again, just earthy, textural funk. There we go. So as it sits, oh, I love that. I don't want to cut it. All right, let's see. Let's dry you a little bit. So kind of what I was contemplating, but we'll probably get there is we'll just keep stacking. I'm gonna need more of that purple, I think, because that purple's one of my favorites anyway. So kind of my daydream here is to just kind of keep stacking things. Yeah, all we're playing with right now is like a single layer of color change. So we're not getting nearly the, I say, way stacked effect. That's pretty cool. So we're definitely getting some things of visual interest. Whatever. Point is to be scrappy and let you just do whatever. That came out really cool actually already. So I kind of just want to play with like exposing a few things, seeing what we got going on. And then I'm going to be a total wackadoo. And again, I have no idea what I'm doing. This just occurred to me that this could be fun, so I decided to try it. Just going to roll that back down. I'm gonna have to get rid of this. Store my scraps elsewhere. Gosh, why don't I have like 5 more tiles? I need to start patrolling Dollar Trees and seeing if any Dollar Trees sell these. Because my local one hasn't had them the last dozen times I've been in. And I wanted them again. You know what I could even do? Let's do this. Let's run you through on a 0. And 2. All right, so already, tell that'd be really cool, especially since that's translucent. So that'll do a lot of interesting stuff. Okay, let's go from here. I kind of feel like this stuff needs to get thinner now. So rather than everything being at a 3, I'm going to roll it to 6. So there's a chunk of that. I want a chunk of, let's throw you in the mix. do a little thinner even. That's definitely got some cool metallic in it. Let's grab a little bit of this white. Remember, all of that white is not actually white, it's just translucent. See if we can spread you a little. Something more over here. What are you? Oh, yeah, you're that champagne. Like that it's got kind of a rough edge. Over there. Anything else? Anything else? Bueller. Throw a line of this in there. So this is that like bubble gum. Blech. Okay. Thick blade, pull you up. Use the blade holder. Don't lose my blades. All right. So we're just a mess again. And we definitely want some translucent going into this too. What are the dogs doing out there? Something thump out in the house. All right, you go there. So we're sitting here. Just throw you back in. Some color mix up. This has the potential to be really cool or really ugly. Alrighty, you're going face down. All right. That hair is still floating around. Ah, no, still there. Oh wait, you gone. Alrighty. Let's see what we got going on here now. I almost wonder if we shouldn't go ahead and cut you in half and stack you. We're going like full old school Makumigane. Cut and stack and roll it out. All right. Okay, I'm thinking there we're ready to do something interesting now. So we want to stick to. I want some of this in there. So this one is Bubbly Paradox. Oh God! I just spilled the metal flakes. Okay, they're moderately self-contained. Why is the lid not on that? I was teasing my man. My dogs got into a sheet of foil and were throwing it everywhere. And I was like, it's as bad as glitter, if not worse. See, my patterns are so compressed. And to be on the tiny, to be honest, I might prefer that bigger scale. So I might go find one of those in a minute. This one's cool too. This one's crunched foil. I'm not sure if I have that one printed up bigger, but that's not too distracting to be small. Let's use this for a chunk of this. Go. And what else? Yeah, I'll throw a little of this on one side. Water. Don't do that. Okay. And maybe some branching out. That one's branching out. Need something right through there. Okay. Now we dry. And let's expose a little and see what we got going on. We may need, that's looking kind of cool. Oops, sorry guys. Neat. Yeah. I need something already rolled out to just toss those on too. I will make you thinner. Throw them all onto that for now. 3, let's put you a 6. Give me a place to just chuck stuff. It's actually very interesting. All right, I'll try to get that where you guys can see it. And I need something to keep that tile from wandering. Going too deep? No, I'm going perfect depth. Now that's awesome. Who remembers? Pop quiz. Who remembers what I put over there? Yes. Very cool. All right. I still feel like we need a little bit more depth in some of this patterning, or maybe not. I don't know. It is showing up through. That's a lot of what I'd done before, though. No fussing bee. Oh, now that's epic. That's really cool. So something else, but neat. Wow. Too cool. All right, you can go right there. Go ahead and scoot stuff over so we can kind of get a better feel of where I'm placing everything. So like this. It's really pretty too. Super delicate. Um, a little more of it. Upside down and go right there. Okay. Stick you somewhere. So yeah, some of these finer little pieces are really cool too. They're much harder to deal with. And going deep and getting heavy slices off, but ah, thinking what's going on with this purple and gold is going to be pretty stunning over here too. Here, come here. Go there. And the other thing to remember also is that in stacking this stuff over here the way I am, is a lot of this is translucent or has extra translucent added to even if it is colored. So it should allow some effect to come through. So even if I like multi-stack stuff, it should actually have a really cool effect still. In that case, working on white might have been nice too because it would just pop up whatever's translucent, but it means I need a full and total coverage of everything. I was planning on just making some bead roll-ups out of this because that's been the mood I've been in lately. And yeah, I think that's going to end up being what'll happen here. So funky cool looking. Loving that little bit of effect that that's having too. That rain coral. I think I labeled that as I rolled it, didn't I? I don't remember. On the other side, I'm probably not going to get it, am I? Ah, interesting. That's definitely, to me, one of the major rules of creativity is if you feel inspired, just roll with it. It's amazing. Like I joke about it, but it's like I swear you can download ideas from the ether and they just like show up. And if you're willing to play along, you can end up with some really cool stuff if you just let things flow, especially when it comes to creativity. Creativity is not a controlled substance. It is under its own control. So yeah, it's really funny. It's like because it's like I've been drawing my whole life. I spent a long stint painting and just all sorts of stuff, and it always absolutely floors me how much just shows up unexpected. And it's like, yes, you can learn techniques, you can pin down an idea, you can be like, oh, I want to make this exactly like this idea, and you can have some fun with it and a lot of success with it. Like the photorealistic artists, like that's not download, that is flat out skill. Like you just teach yourself to be meticulous and where highlights and where shadows are and where all that stuff belongs, and you have to train that. You absolutely have to train that. And I'm not saying as an artist you don't train, because the more you train, the more stuff just shows up for you because you're now, how do I say this? Okay, if there's ideas floating out in the ether and a child picks them up and picks up a crayon and starts messing around with that idea, they'll get so far. However, if Monet picks up that idea that's floating around in the ether and puts it to work, that's where the really amazing stuff just kind of happens, right? So, from the artistic perspective, yes, train, yes, study, yes, learn how to be technically cool. However, also spend a lot of time allowing things to just flow and happen, because it's in that flow state is where your best stuff shows up. And it's like even really cool. It's like I've got a, man, I don't think I can show you guys this. It's hanging on the wall outside a garage, but I don't think I can show it to you. I might have a picture of it. Maybe I can show you the computer or my phone screen. But yeah, so I had this idea of like just I was playing with drawing candles and I was playing with painting candles. And let me see if I can find it. Um, get into my gallery, into all of my art stuff, into my paintings, and is that candle in here? Nope, it's not. All right, give me 1 second. I will take a picture of this because it's just part of this idea, this concept. Okay. So I had this idea of a painting, and it was just this idea of like this cracked candle. I swear to God, this was like I think maybe the second oil painting I did. I was playing around. Spam calls. I was been playing around with acrylic, and then I picked up oil. I'm like, oh, this is really cool the way it moves and the little feel of it and everything else. Yeah, so I'm playing around. I've got all these textures. I've got all these ideas going on, and like I'm playing in the brush strokes and whatnot. And this idea of shattered, and yeah, so I've got this shattered candle, and it's like I show it to somebody, and they're like, oh, look at the cool hands holding that up. So to them, and I see it now too, is it looks like a pair of cupped hands are just are catching it and holding it together. I didn't plan that. I'd like to say I did, but I did not. And like I said, it was one of those ideas that was just floating around out in the ether, and it's like, oh, I thought this is a cool idea. So I'd sketched it out, I'd kind of tinkered with it, and yeah, so stuff happens best, I feel, when you put the background work in, but you also allow, the ideas to flow and you don't turn them down when they show up. I think that's the biggest one. It's just never turn it down. It's like, oh, this is an idea. Okay. Can't get them all done. Don't get me wrong. And it's like you can't, like I said, if there's an internet down, a creativity download floating around in the ether, um, you can't do it all. Nobody can. But you definitely need to learn how to tune in because it's there for you. And yeah. Yeah, so I think that's cool. I think that's really, really, really fun. I have no idea what this is gonna look like when it's cooked out. I think I'm going to do one more probably. So let's see. I need my big blade, put a little blade away. Handy dandy blade holder. I love this thing. Never use it, but I'm supposed to. And since I've got that whole mess of foil over there, we're gonna need to pick that up and use it. Yeah, so it's like sometimes my that ADD, free floating, just flower child side of myself can get really frustrating to live with sometimes because it's not good at details. It's not good at crossing all the I's and dotting all the T's. Oh wait, that's backwards. But if I can channel it into a flow state, it's really, really amazing the kind of stuff that just shows up, stuff that just happens. But anyway, okie dokie. So that's the gold. Definitely want some of this. And I'm on a 3 again, right? You guys are all about the same. I want something else in between there, maybe. Maybe, yeah, earthier, and then go golder, and then go darker brown there, and copper down there. And let's get a layer of this. Oops. Ah, okay. We're going to go with, again, that's how it asked to happen. So we're gonna just roll with it. I want you're doubled up, so I'm going to take a piece off you, throw you up there, and down there. Okay, and then I've got this dark brown. I do want that thinner because that's gonna take over. Need to be everywhere. And then this off white, I'm going to thin you out. Oh, I forgot to put in some of this. All right, so this would be how an old school Makumegane stack would be done. Might have picked up a little bit of clay scrap with that. That actually means I don't want that off white. I want a layer of translucent there. There's the thinner. Sure you're in there to lock in all that bit of flake. There's still the crunchy translucent, so we didn't get to doing much more of that. And now I could do a layer of white, or I could leave that as my top layer. I think that's what I'm going to do. Alrighty. My rolling pin. I feel like the colors are going to be a little more cohesive here. say I think I'm going to need a little more translucent right there. Stay down. Oh, missed. All right. Stretch you out. And then I want to run you through the roller. Only way I'm going to get a roller's worth of detail in here is if we stretch this out a little thinner. So let's do Alrighty. So now we're back on the 0. And I won't, still want to keep playing with this. Let me grab the biggest version of that. And unfortunately, I did not print them in a double tall other than the tiny. So I don't have that on hand to play with. Sure, we're extra wet. Actually, I'm going to put a little more wet in there. Yeah, I should do. I should get something of that other piece in the oven so we figure out what it comes out like. All right, I'm going to go across here. It's just such a good stone effect. I love it. Okay. I like that. I'm going to add more texture somewhere. So I'm kind of wondering if I was to roll this in. Yeah, there goes that spot. It does not want to stay down. Okay, I will trust you. You don't belong there. Got it. That's it. Let these ideas live. And roll with whatever flows. Doot, 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 doot. Okay. Now that's pressed in. I want to run something else through it. I really did kind of like that effect of this guy in just a little bit of space. Again, I don't want him taken over. I like kind of what he did. And these bubbles were really, or droplets. You know, it'd be really smart to do. Did we do a dark on top? We did. All right, this is going to be really weird. I'm not sure how well it'll work. But if I don't have tons of it, and this is that off whitish. Problem is that that's a little wet, so there will be a little repellency going on. It's just going to put some white little dollops down in there. Okay. I think I'm going to take this guy over one more time. Use that to, I don't want to do too much there because of the white thing, the effect I'm trying to do there. Okay. Let's see. I have nowhere to put any of this. I've got lots of dark colors. Don't have an off-white made up. Eeny, meeny, meeny. Oh, wait, I do have a little bit of off-white. Okay, I can make a thin like this. Alright. Probably won't be enough for the whole thing, but somewhere to put stuff. first things first, I kind of want to just slice this off. Kind of what that effect gives us. That I'm not really overly fond of hanging on to. I just wanted to expose all those little light colored dots. Yeah, I'm not loving how that's slicing off in the lightweight version. I might go just a little deeper and see where we end up. Much cooler. Okay, so that's kind of the effective. I just wanted to be able to chunk a little bit of light colored dots down in there like that, and I like that. That's coming out pretty cool. And it actually makes a neat slicing off technique. You see how you're getting that lacing with just a couple little dots in it? That's pretty cool too. I like that. But it's not the only thing I want to work on. Exposing. Very cool. A little bit of fire showing up now that we're hitting that oil layer that's in there. Yes, I like it. I'm liking it a lot. You can tell there's going to be a lot of mica shift in that because of how light the coloring was. It's such a shame how hard it is to go shallow enough to get all these little details up. Um, when I'm stacking over here, I don't have enough like deep dark stuff to cover over with the little detailed stuff. If that makes any sense to you guys. There we go. That's the effect I was looking for. That's exactly how that's coming up there. That was the idea I had in mind with using that roller in particular. You catch on that spot where that clear didn't want to stay put. Let's see. Pretty, 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 pretty. Ooh, that's neat. I really like the effect that brain coral has on this idea. I might play with that a little bit more. Whoop. Yeah, whatever, go that way. Sure, why not? Mm. Let's see. Got so much scrappiness. Let me just flip that over and brush it off onto our little spare piece. That time I got a bunch of little tiny little pebbles coming up. out of eye line. Feeling like as cool as this is looking, over here we've just got translucent. There we go. We've mostly just got translucent and dark green and dark brown. So there's not there that's got the metallic in it. So that might hold a little bit. But over here, I'm thinking we're going to want to lay in and get a little bit more depth from that. And we might even want to, yeah, change, like add a layer. No, not like that. I meant like just go ahead and run the rollers through it again and do something different with it. There's so much dark on dark on dark. So I think that is what I'm going to do. And you guys are going to probably find this weird. I'm going to fatten this back up a little bit again. Gotten a lot of cool stuff out of it. Actually, that's the other thing I'm going to do is I am going to keep this top half with all that white because that does have enough contrast that should be pretty. That will be usable as a bead roll and be really cool. This through here. I'm thinking we just don't have enough visually interesting stuff going on. And I don't think just going deeper, I don't think we have enough depth, the right word. Like again, we're using texture rollers that are made for doing little jewelry pieces, and I'm trying to like go deep here. And there's not much left of the details when you start going that deep. So I'm going to snag that because that is like the coolest part of this. Set that aside because that's so pretty. All right, so oh yeah, I was going to fatten this back up. So let's just go like this. And then you can also, another way to fatten things up is just kind of press in from the sides and then just give it a little tension. Press in from the sides, give it a little tension. There we go. I love the detailing here, but we're just so dark into bright. And it's bright layers in the middle of this stack. Actually, that is pretty good. Dang it. That's really cool. Keep that too. All right, so now we're down to a little piece. It's also really pretty, but I don't think it's, I think that's just going to be way too dark. Yeah, that's all way too dark. So let's just let you exist as you are, and then we're going to add something in to brighten it up. So let's chunk a layer of this. Like I said, that was my fear is I don't have tons of brightness. And this is going to be pretty see-through, so it's not going to actually brighten it up. Ah, this stinking Cernet, man. It is the worst for waking up. Once it wakes up, it gets super soft, but in the meantime, any layer of that. Taking off whatever's obviously extra hanging off. And then we can go one layer of this. I guess super skinny. Oh, actually, we'll do this one. We haven't done this yet. Go. And then I can go with this guy. Air bubbles. Alrighty. Let's go ahead and stretch that out a bit. And contemplating. Things are popping up. I'm trying to decide. Do we want a little bit of. No, I think we're good. Okay. And I think what I'm going to do is, because I keep getting drawn to it, a little bit more needed right there. Let's go grab a piece of that brain coral, or the big roller of brain coral. Because for some reason, I am gravitating to it. And I think I have one. Yes, I found that I have one of these in extra large. So this will get us nice and deep. And it's definitely strayed from the original color patterning. It looks way more like stuff I normally do. Alrighty. Towels, dry. And then this one, I am going to want to smush it together. Nah, no, I want you as is. But I am going to go ahead and roll out enough translucent, hopefully, to cover it. And that little black hair is back again. There we go. My microphone volume is being quirky. Oh, rats. If so, I apologize, guys. Trying to teach myself to talk into the microphone and keep it accessible, but then sometimes I knock it out of the way. And I think that's what's happened if something happened. Or maybe it's just been bad volume the whole time. I'm not sure. Alrighty. That's you that's extra, isn't there? Down on the lip. Let's pull all that away. Alright. Squish you back down. There with your translucent buddies. And then we start slicing. will say sometimes the messy play is the point. Sometimes the messy play is clearing your mind to figure out what the point of today's artwork is. And learning something about techniques and ideas and how things go together. So, like, as much as I thought I would prefer this in big, it's cool. It's lost something of what it was doing in the little. To think, oops, that sliced way too far. That's pretty cool, though. All right, you sit over there. So, oh, that's cool. That looks good. All right, so kind of what I'm thinking of now is no, I think I'm just going to keep pulling a little bit of this off. These are going to end up being interesting to see how this stuff comes out because so much of this is translucent mixed in that can definitely do some interesting stuff. All right, I'll work on the microphone thing. All right. Like all those. Those are pretty. Get you out of my way. Too deep. Interesting though. All right. Contemplating, contemplating, contemplating. There are these pieces that went uber deep. Maybe some of this similar yellow and goldiness. All right. Again, today's idea was stack and restack and cover stacks and do things with stacks. So I'm now going to try one more oddball thing. Remember, I was saying I think I need to go. I think it was the little tiny mazy looking thing that was making me so happy. What happens if I run the little maze over the big maze? We need a lighter color in there also. Should I go over with the champagne one more time? I don't think I have enough sitting here that'll cover it, maybe. Stripes, but it's highly translucent, so it might not cover as much as I'm thinking it will, but it might cover better. Who knows? Playing with organic shapes and organic things. And translucency, which unfortunately we don't get to see until we actually bake. But, all right, here's what I'm thinking here is back to that little, there it is, view, the little version. Big version just ended up too big. You have a piece of clay stuck. There we go. Alrighty. Now, I also want to cover that again in translucent, I think. Maybe. Not sure. Yeah. I have to wake up some of you. That's too much. Oh well. Alrighty. Almost enough to cover all that. Point of this is I just want it to help me pick up my scraps and keep them together so they don't just fall into little spirals of spaghetti that just disappear. And I'm probably going to want to have somewhere to put that. I'm running out of room for such things. All right, put it on this. There's brown in there. Oh well, there's a little brown in there. Okay, my knife. Except where you can see what I'm doing. And you closer. There we go. I need some of you guys just to go away. All in my way. Actually, just realized that you guys are pretty well set up for turning into a little slap of their own. There we go. And knife, if it's too sticky to pick up by itself. Come here, come here, come here. There. And there. Go right there. Couple more pieces. There. Just stick there. Okay. Now I have a little room again. And messes everywhere. It's definitely one of those kinds of days. That actually make cool beads. Need to make them big beads though. I don't know what to do with that. Honestly, it's kind of pretty. So you can just have a chunk over there too. Okay. All right. Let's see what we get here. So this, I need to get my head back around the fact that I am now going to need to lightly slice. Need to slice heavier than that. That didn't do anything. There we go. Getting there, but let me actually turn this way because it seems like we have a little bit of a depth thing happening. There we go. Starting to see it. There we go. That's awesome. Too deep? Nope, that's perfect. Deep. That's super interesting. Get in there. Do, 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 do. That's awesome. All right, let's see. Thinking that'll be really interesting once it's baked. Because again, this is a translucent gold type color and it's broken down with a bunch of extra translucent. I might have gotten a little too deep there. Let's see. Yeah, we're getting interesting. And that might be too far. Just gonna put that guy right back. And we didn't slice that. Away. Yeah, just go somewhere else. And stick from my finger. Everything is sticking to my fingers. Okay, I think I'm getting to the edge of what I can pull away and still be keeping my patterning. Those are really, really, really pretty. God, those are going to be amazing. What's cool about this is they're holding together pretty well, and any color I put under them will show through. So, and again, this is champagne metallic type goldy kind of color, so it should have a really pretty effect and allow whatever's behind it to show through really nicely. So I'm thinking I'm loving that. That's really, really, really cool. Okay, cool. So I think we've won the game of can we make something funky and organic, being spazzes with clay and rollers. And I definitely, in a continual stacking method, and just add more clay on top, run another texture through, and see what you are left with. Really pretty. I'm gonna pop you in the middle over here. And a little bit more here, maybe. All right. I'm thinking I'm liking exactly this as it is. So I'm going to call that done. Yeah, slice that up. You will scoot away. Thank you. And we're going to roll this up into beads. They're so skinny. Alrighty. Wipe that off. I'm going to need to make a bunch of this go away. So I have some room to roll. Just a chunk of gold. These little scraps can just go over here. These bigger ones I'm going to hang on to make bead rolls out of too. All right, so I call that a funky, fun, organic win. All right, so I think I'll roll from here over. Maybe I'll start on that side and then see if I can't roll into this. Probably get like 2 logs out of that. Okay, where is just straight up flat? That's too small. Chunk off of my fresh block. And it is so soft, it's absurd. A little annoying for making beads, to be honest, but sometimes it's nice to be able to just pull something off a block and put it to use. All right, so roll that backwards to make sure that picks that up. Roll to there to see about where we need the back cut from. Everything's too sticky, so I'm going to need a firmer blade for that. And I like to cut it back at a 3/4 angle or 45 or whatever. And then we just match it over onto itself. Self-sticking. Go ahead and just chop the ends off. I am really fascinated to see what this turns into. I'm thinking that that's going to be very, 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 very pretty. All right. Guess I could fashion at least one bead and throw it in the oven. So hopefully we can get a little bit of this cooked out. I'm not going to make a bunch of them right now because these are going to be impossible to work with while it's this soft. So it's going to have to sit around and firm up over a little time, but we'll throw one together. And I think I do want to do them on. Yeah, we're going to be better off, I think, if we do them like this. Dealing with this over softness. Gosh, it's so soft and sticky. I was really floored being in North Carolina, hanging out and play with the kids, with my nieces and nephews. How completely differently the clay responded to being up in that temperature and humidity difference and everything. It's so different than it is here. All right, what color are we going to want to go behind that champagne? I'm thinking we do want something a little rich and a little dark. Middle roll. All right. Bead plate. Get you a little out of the way. Inner core is collapsing inward because it's so soft. So give it a little tension. It's a little bit fat. Might want to work one roller size up, or I can just kind of use that to give it its basic shape and then just touch it up by hand, and that looks really good. Wow, that's neat. That's so pretty. Okay, throw you in the oven so we get to see something. Oh, you guys might like this. This was what was sitting in the oven. So the roll-ups I showed you earlier for beads, this is the jewelry set that I ended up making to match that. So this has already been sanded, and I don't think I hit it with the buffer. No, I don't think I did, but I'll have to sand the backs of these, and I put just the littlest bit of texture in before I mushed it all down to compress it. So I like the way that looks. That's actually almost a mica shift with how much I smushed it. Pop off of there. There you go. So yeah, that's how I ended up doing that with all the color because the color variants obviously wasn't going to make it through the earrings. So I used the backing to add the color changing to it. So yeah, thinner blend. Yeah, that's where one of my tiles went. That explains it. All right, so set those aside. Not on the floor. To be sanded and finished off in a little bit. Okay, so I'm loving this tealiness with that. Do I have more green? I might have used the last of that dash of dark toned down teal around green. Hold on. Might be something similar in here. That's similar. That dark enough? It's an indigo blue. It's really pretty, but not for this. Okay. Yeah, I think you'll do. I don't know though, because you're picking up too much of the, you're like the same color. Oh, wait, 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 wait. Have it. Or are you it? Well, that's it. Slightly grayed down from this chunk. I am almost thinking that I want something darker. Maybe, maybe, maybe I will just use this dark green. I think so. You need to get squished so you fit in a little thing. Squish, squish. All right. You. Ah, no. I need to grab one of these guys and then pop you onto there. And then grab a little bit more. And match up the edge and roll you around. Oop. And then I've got one eek, you know, another long piece. And match it from right there. And take it all the way down. And now fill in this bits. Okay. And then we got a little piece cover over them bits. And that bit for the bottom. And there we go. Alrighty. You elsewhere. Let's do one of you guys. Go in the oven too. We'll just run through a few of these and we can probably pull them out once they've been in there a little while. Oops. Back to this side. roll it long enough to get it to open up wide enough that my little, these guys will fit in there. Roll it. Ready. Take our little plate and we put it in the plate. Ah, I like extra fat. Oh, that's the problem. I'm using the skinny roller. That's why. There you go. That's got more stability to it. And you weren't stuck down. I think that's going to be absolutely gorgeous. That will be interesting to see how that brightens up. Apparently, it's a lot harder to put something in an already hot oven. Stand up. There you go. Okay. Now you're in there. All right. So, what else do we have? I love the way that came out. That actually will make a really pretty pendant, I think. I'm going to leave you there to be pendant has. Let's see. Oop. Yeah, that needs to be a pendant. What kind of pendant? Sure. I'm thinking that I don't want to bake it on a tile because I don't think I'm going to end up sanding it because I'll probably knock out that such soft clay too. This is super soft. There you go. I think I'm just going to bake it on a piece of paper. And it's cardstock, just in case anybody's wondering. Cut up extra cardstock and use it for baking. Or straight printer paper also, but all right, I put one little tile in the oven. I should have another one floating around here somewhere though. Oh, there it is. I'm going to press that on just to make sure we're essentially, yep, organic and it looks like a stone. I win. Into the oven you go. Alrighty. What else do we have to play with over here that we will wait for later use? I'll have this guy. Yeah, that's really pretty. That did come out kind of amazing, didn't it? Especially in love with this area down here. There. I want to roll it up into a bead log, but I'm not sure how much. I don't want to overlap much is what I'm concerning myself with at the moment. I'd almost rather cut it here and then roll it this way. I just want to make sure that I don't run out of enough length to roll the whole thing. Yeah. All right. Oh yeah. Okay. Yeah, I'm just going to roll it over on top of itself until we get to the end. So let me go ahead and cut that back. There we go. Nice. Very, 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 very cool. I am seriously curious about how this is going to end up coming out. Because, like I said, there's so much like the translucent, there's so much translucence going on in here that I'm pretty sure. Nubblies, scrappy extraness. Add her little skewers a little harder to use than the other one. I have skinnier ones, but they've got some beads sitting on them, and I don't want to take the beads off because they're in descending color order, and I need to string them at least on something to store them, and I haven't done it yet. So they're just sitting over there. All right, where are you? There you is. All right, and let's roll you on your beady roller. Even out shape. Need scrap to go elsewhere. Wow. Mama's in love. I like it. All right, stick you up in there too. Whatever. Nope, missed again. No, no. Keeps landing sideways and then it wants to glue itself to the stinking tile. No, it again. Stop it. Oh my goodness. I'm gonna have to put you in on a different tile. Problem is, the things are so sticky. Never do my beadwork this quickly after making my things. I usually sometimes I'll roll them in a log, sometimes I'll leave the veneer even for a little while before I put it in onto a log. Um, but yeah, These things are super sticky. Did I do a veneer out of that yet or not yet? No. That one is so good. All right. Let's brave the sticky again. So, is there enough of you? Nope. More. Where'd I put my chunk of black clay? Wah, wah. I know I put it away somewhere. There it is. God, this stuff is so fresh. All right. Maybe that much more. Yeah, maybe that'll do it. A lot of times I'll just end up grabbing whatever's scrapped sitting around and roll it out. Oh. It's so colorful. All right, we're saving that for later. I'm getting myself into trouble. Alrighty. Try again. Let's just roll you out flat. I think this is the best of what we were messing with for the effect I was aiming for. It's just super natural stone looking. Yep. That was one that was a mix of a couple different rollers and a couple different layers. And yeah. Yep. I think this one's the win. Like I said earlier, sometimes the point is the thing you make now, and sometimes the point is what you will make next with the information you subconsciously gathered by playing around with what you played with today. I definitely picked up some stuff. I need something else to go on top of there. It's not gonna look good neither. Give me my color changing going on. That will. You there. And even though that's all mashed up, once you turn that into a bead, some of that will at least look better than it did. There we go. So yeah, that'll bead out really pretty too. And what's wasted here at the end is there. Garbage. That segment's going to be really pretty with all that foil sitting in it. All right, you post it over there. Ooh. Back in. We don't need the black. That will make a very pretty little tiny log. Small beads. Yes, definitely. So let's just make some nice color matching accent beads. Very cool. That'll be really pretty. On here, let's see if we can't mush that up a little bit more. There you go. Okay. And yeah, I think at this point, pretty much done messing around for now. Probably They just roll a bunch of these guys up and turn them into logs to eventually make beads out of. Yeah, that'll make a pretty little bead setup. I like that half much better than this half, actually. I think I'm going to just go ahead and acknowledge you guys as trash. But you can become the core for something else. Or maybe, yeah, it's a zone that's just got too much dark to it, so it's just going to all be dark by the time I'm done. So you can be the core to your buddies over here because that has enough light in it that I think that'll come out really pretty. That looks better. All right. Would be a good log to do some fat round beads out of, I think. Round beads work the best if you're, I'm finding anyway, that round beads work the best if your log is roughly like, you don't want to take a skinny log and then try to compress them back down and make them fatter again. So you're better off to take something that is fat. Got a little bit too much waste there. I think that needs to go. There we go. So you want to go no more than just slightly longer than your thickness of your roll if you're going for round beads. Otherwise, you end up with like a you end up losing a bit of distortion or making a funky bit of distortion, um, because middle doesn't fatten out very well. So you end up changing the outside edge a lot more than what changes in the middle. So I find that the closer to a essentially square round, as fat as it is, as wide as it is tall, you start with it about there, you usually have a better bead outcome with less distortion. So that was the ends that I rolled in on itself. You can find the center of that swirl. And I really do need those little boop, boop. And if you just kind of lay it down, plump it up, poke in the middle of one side, flip it, poke the middle of the other side. And again, this is so soft right now. This is not going to work for calling it a finished bead. I will have to just leave it sitting here and come back in 20 minutes once it settles. And then I'll be able to shape it up better again, just roll it a bit more. But I just wanted to show you guys that is how that's turning out. So I'm not loving that seam that's kind of on that edge for whatever reason. There just must have been a seam. So I'm going to be a total weirdo. And we're just going to lentil this. And that lets me adjust the colorations and the patterns some. And then press it down. And now that seems normal. So, yep. One way to deal with a bead that you don't like. Just roll it. All right, let's try this again. I'm going to go a little bit less longer than it is fat. I'm still going to bring that color around the edges because I want to not have a big ugly open end. Although it's not the worst effect, but let's try this again. Alrighty. Started. Finished it. And it's a really fat There we go. That one worked out. So like I said, you get some sort of weird distortion if you're too much longer than tall, if you're trying to make rounded beads. When you do them the way I've been doing them with plates and ends, it gives it a really pretty effect of drawing it out, because this is skinnier than this, so it ends up just kind of drawing it out, but you don't lose your inner detail. So this was probably a little fatter. You can see like it just gets kind of compressed in the center detail rather than getting drawn out like it does when you have a longer, when you're doing them elongated rather than round. So it definitely seems to work better if you start your round shape as square as you can. So if you think you want to make fat round beads, start with a really fat core. And if you want to make small round beads, start with a small core, because by the time you roll them down that much, you're going to put a lot of distortion into it. Yeah, that one's pretty. Find something to put these on. And to be honest, that lentil is really cool. So if I kept rolling it, I'd get more of the spiraling effect. But to be honest, I kind of like it just as it is. Yeah, I think I like the slightly less spiraled side. It's just still got lots of visual interest. All right, so what are the chances that any of those beads have cooked up enough? Let's see how long. Oh, one of them's been in there 30 minutes. Let me see if I can't pull one out to look at. And then we'll cut this stream because we've been on. Oh my gosh, we've been on a while. I wasn't expecting that. Oh, right. So that is the first one. It looks like it does need some more time to finish clearing up. Still gonna look pretty good though. Right, let me see. And these are looking amazing. So you can see we're starting to get. So again, they're going to take some time to clear out. This is all this on the dark green behind. So all of that gold, once it gets polished up and clear coated, that will pop. And then that green under the translucent will have a really pretty effect to itself. So, yep. I am totally, totally, totally happy. Oh, no, 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 no. You're supposed to stay upright. When they're upright, you stay upright. Okay. So I think I'm going to call it there because somehow this turned into a really long stream. I didn't think we were on that long, but yeah, I think we had lots of fun. We made lots of bead roll things. I've still now got a whole big mess I have to clean up. You guys were only seeing about an eighth of it. But yeah, I think that was fun. I think we came up with some cool stuff and some interesting ideas on how to stack and texturize and make things look like stone. So yeah, I'm happy with that. Especially I said that using this droplet one with a very contrasty color going in. I like that effect. I think that gives it a really good stone type look. So yeah, super, super, super happy with all the way all of that came out. Anyway, I will talk to you guys on the next time. I'm going to go get a bite to eat because I'm starving.